Hello. Hopefully this one works. I'll find out in a few seconds. If it tells me if the audio is not recording, then I will stop. But it doesn't seem to be doing that, so I guess we're all good. I thought I'd record a video because I haven't recorded in quite a while. Months, actually. And I wasn't going to do any more videos. I was going to possibly make a new account, or maybe just stop altogether. I feel like the identity on this particular account is a very sick identity. It was an identity I wanted a lot, and now I find myself not wanting it, and I don't want to be associated with it in any way. So it was really hard for me for quite a while to make a video on this account because I felt that maybe a lot of my viewership had to do with my illness, and I didn't want to feed into that. But I've discovered that through YouTube I've actually made a lot of real friends, and it has nothing to do with the eating disorder in particular, although that may be how we connected in some instances, but it was more to do, apparently, with me, with my personality and things like that. I don't know. I've changed quite a lot from that little bubbly, outgoing, whatever I was in 2006, 2007. I mean, it is 2012, people change. I'm 26 now, and I was 19 or 20 when I started recording videos. I really hope I've changed, because I didn't have the least clue how to deal with my problems back then, and even though things get hard still, and I still don't know what to do half the time, I'm actually a lot better off than I was. Which is interesting for me to say, because I've recently had, I would call it a major slip. Other people would call it a downright crash, because what happened was that I attempted again, and this time all I did was post a status on Facebook, and apparently I mentioned that I had been feeling suicidal and then that I'd taken a lot of Ativan to combat it, but it hadn't, well, it worked at the time, but then of course the Ativan was wearing off, so I was getting into that mode again, and I completely forgot that I had posted a comment like that, so they knew that I was suicidal. Stupid, right? If you really want to commit suicide, you don't post shit like that. Well, anyway, I had the cops called on me by my friend Claire, who I actually met on here, and may be watching this video, so hi Claire. And she's pretty much solely responsible for saving my life because nobody else really got it, I guess. Claire has a lot of the same diagnoses as me, and I guess when she read that, her red flags immediately went up, which I guess they should have, but she was the only one who was truly concerned. But it was mostly because I wasn't answering, which was because at that point I was in there, taking pills in my bathroom. So, and she called me and she texted me, and I didn't answer any of the phone calls, and I think I sent one text, but then I stopped. And so she was like, okay, I gotta call the cops. And so if it wasn't for her, I probably wouldn't be here right now. So it's very hard to say thank you, to be totally honest, and I think she understands why. It's because after a true attempt, which was totally what it was, because I had no intention of, calling anybody. I had a bed made up in my bathroom floor, and I was just going to lie there and die, basically. And so it was, a real attempt. I wasn't seeking attention. God knows I didn't want anyone to phone anybody. I mean, earlier I had stopped my friend Shannon from texting anybody on my friends list or posting on my wall or whatever. I actually removed her as a friend, which had nothing to do with, her not being my friend, and I know she understands this now. Just that I was so in that mode that I didn't want to be stopped. And it's the first time ever that, in all honesty, I really, truly did not want to be stopped. I wanted it to just be over. And I had my moments of frustration, on a medical floor talking with a psychiatrist and some neuroscience intern or neurology intern. That's what it was. And it's not that I'm over it precisely, it's just that I'm trying to tolerate it, being alive. So I can't quite say I'm thankful for my life, but I don't bear her any ill will. Just so you know, Claire, I'm not mad at you for what you did. I was at the time, but I'm not now. But that's how it goes, you know. Of course you're gonna be mad when you want something so bad and somebody stops you from getting it, right? So anyway, all that shit happened. I went to the ICU for a day. I was on the medical floor for a day that I needed to be there, and then another day waiting for transfer to the short stay unit at the mental hospital, where I only stayed basically for 24 hours because all I really needed was stuff set up for me and a few things photocopied, a few links were given to me, stuff like that. So I was just like, you know, the psychiatrist asked me, you know, do you feel you want to stay for another day, or, you know, I can have this done by this afternoon if you want to go today. And I said, well, the only reason I'm here is because I'm waiting for, you know, calls to be made and papers to be photocopied, so I might as well go this afternoon. So that's what I did. And it ended up being okay because I went to Shared Spaces Halloween party, which is, sorry, my throat's a bit scratchy. I was at Emmanuel House twice, and I still live under Celebrity Housing, so because I'm a former and because I live under Celebrity Housing, either one would qualify me to be allowed to go to this. It's something they have at the last Thursday of every month is Shared Space for anybody who's been in Celebrity ever. And this month was, of course, the Halloween one, and so everybody, you know, dressed out. Well, not everybody, you didn't have to, but a lot of people did. And there were special numbers, and people prepared, and like, I don't know, somebody choreographed a dance for one of the numbers, and all the staff was in costume, and it was, you know, and they played dance music at points so that people could actually get up and dance, whereas at the normal Shared Spaces, aside from holidays, it's just people get up and they will sing, or they will play, or whatever. So that was the night I got out that I found out that was happening, and so me and my friend Lynn went. And then the next night, well, the next day I went out with my sister Tracy to the library and the mall and stuff. And then that night I went to another Halloween party, which was an adult party. You know, Shared Spaces obviously is it's a dry party because a lot of people there have had addictions issues. So there's no booze. It's, you know, chips and pop and stuff. But this party that I went to was, well, it was called Purple Jesus. And Purple Jesus is the drink that they make at the party, and you pay $10, you can have as much as you want. So, you know, normal adult party. I went as Katniss Everdeen both times. Tanya took a picture of me, and my friend Crystal took another couple pictures, but I haven't seen any of them on Facebook yet. I don't think Crystal's going to post hers on Facebook, but Tanya should. So I'm hoping I get to see some pictures of my costume on Facebook eventually. But nonetheless, I really liked my costume. I'm totally obsessed with the Hunger Games right now. I have been for many months, ever since I read the books. I mean, the first thing I did when I finished the series was started reading it over again, and I read it through about 3 times before, you know, I was craving Hunger Games, so I read it, and then I realized, hey, you know, there's probably fandoms online and things like this, so I went online, I found a Hunger Games roleplay, and started posting Hunger Games things on Tumblr, but also I discovered Instagram, which happens to have a massive Hunger Games fan base, and they do things that they call Instagram Hunger Games, which just means you have a Hunger Games on Instagram. And people, you know, post reaping outfits, chariot outfits, interview outfits, you kind of make up a character, you pick your weapons, and you pick your backpack or whatever. However the game maker decides to do it. There are a lot of different ways people do it, but, and I'm sorry if you don't know the Hunger Games, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about with any of this, and I really apologize, but it's just, it was one of the things that I clung to once I decided, you know, I have to eat. Enough is enough with this eating disorder business. I've been really up and down these last many, many months. It'll be like, I'll gain 5 or 10 pounds and I'll lose it all. Gain 5 or 10 pounds, lose it all again, etc., etc. And this last time I had gotten lower than I had gotten in previous times. Sometimes, you know, I'd only lose like 5 pounds and I'd gain back again really fast. This time I got about 10 pounds off and I was gonna go even further, and I just, I realized I just couldn't live with it anymore, I think. I think that was the main thing, and so I knew that once I started eating again, I was gonna need something to fill that obsessive void that I had been filling with, eating disorder Tumblr and all this old shit that I was doing, right? So, I found the Hunger Games, and I found, Instagram and my roleplay, and that really helped fill the void. I also bought a set of bow and arrows, and I started learning to shoot. Well, I was kind of teaching myself how to shoot at first, and then I looked up some really good techniques online, and that helped me a lot in terms of precision. I used to wild layout shoot those targets a lot, and now I usually get within a foot of where I'm trying to shoot. I often get nearer than that. I haven't really practiced in quite a while, but I'm really interested in archery. And I mean, yes, I did get interested in it because Katniss is my favorite character. She's from the Hunger Games, and she's an archer. Okay, fine. But archery is a legitimate sport. And when I told my parents that I wanted a set of bow and arrows, because I was going to get it actually for my birthday, like a bow and arrows and archery lessons. That's what I said that I was going to get. That's not what I ended up getting, but anyway. They were kind of like, why? Like, as if it was the most ridiculous thing they'd ever heard, which is kind of weird because my dad, we did archery in Junior Forest Wardens, which is a group I was in when I was a kid. And I remember going to camp and shooting a bow and arrows. Not that I was very good at it at the time. It was an adult set of bow and arrows, and I was 10 and short to boot, right? But, I was just like, even if I don't go hunting, which I won't because I'm a vegetarian, and I don't believe in killing animals for any purpose when you can easily buy the proteins you need and you don't have to kill a single animal. It's just my perspective, by the way. I'm not pushing it on anybody else. I don't do that. I accept you for what you eat. No matter what you eat, I don't care. If you eat meat exclusively, which almost nobody does, but nonetheless, I'm not going to force my beliefs on people. I don't believe in that. Acceptance is acceptance, and I want to be accepting, and I want to be non-judgmental as possible. So, anyway, that's just my reason for being vegetarian. It's an ethical thing for me. Not everybody has the same religious beliefs, not everybody has the same food beliefs. Okay, we can put that aside. But even if I don't hunt, which my parents were like, you're not going to hunt, and I was like, well, archery is an Olympic sport, and it is. And in the Olympics, it's interesting because in, say, World Cup archery, you can use those compound bows, the really funny-looking bows. I don't know, maybe if anybody's ever seen them. They have, like, 3 strings, and they have wheels on the top and the bottom. And instead of actually pulling an arrow and shooting it, you pull this little metal thing that's, like, clicked into the arrow, and then you unclick it or something to shoot it. And I'm like, how is that even a bow and arrow? It's like, it's a monstrosity to me. I'm pretty traditional, actually. I don't even want to use sights. I don't know how to put the sight on the bow that I have. I never found out. I don't care. I want to be able to, Katniss Everdeen never had a sight in her life. When she was out in District 12, hunting, all she had was a simple bow and some arrows. She didn't have sights. She didn't have balancers. She didn't have any of that kind of shit. And I'd like to learn that same way. I mean, if I was a native Canadian living 500 years ago with my bow and arrows, I wouldn't have had sights. But my accuracy would have been important because it would have been a really important thing to be able to do in order to get meat. Now I know males usually did the hunting, but, whatever. Let's pretend, okay?